Okay, good morning, everybody. We'll just allow a minute or two to get the meeting going. Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. I think we're still waiting on our co-chair, Becky, but she should be joining anytime soon. Um, we have our other co-chair filling in for Sylvia. We have Patricia. Um, we'll go into interest in a little bit. So thanks everybody for joining our meeting today, September 25th, for the Sound Sea Community Engagement Committee. Um, we have a really good agenda. Oh, there's Becky. Um, for today, we'll just go over some logistical items as usual. If we can go to the next slide, just for some basic instructions on how to use the Zoom webinar, and also let you all know that we do have interpretation available as usual. You can find that at the bottom of your Zoom screen under the interpretation icon, and you can select the language of preference. And I'll repeat the same instructions in Spanish. Para todos los que necesitan traducción al español, tenemos traducción e interpretación disponible. Esa opción la pueden encontrar en la parte de abajo de su pantalla de Zoom, en donde encuentra el icono que dice interpretación o interpretation, si está en inglés, y ahí selecciona su lenguaje de preferencia. Okay, if we can go to the next slide, please. Okay, we also have some options for people are joining us as as an attendee. You'll be able to see the Q&A box on your side. We will be able to take questions through there, and also you have the raise your hand feature. We will be stopping after each item for any potential questions you might have, and answer those for to the extent that we can. On the panelist side, you should be able to have also the Q&A box. And if you have any links or anything you want to share with the whole group, including attendees, you also have the chat function available. This option is only available for panelists. However, everybody will be able to see your messages as well. Okay, if we can go to the next slide, please. Okay, and I'll pass it over to our co-chairs, Rebecca Terrazas Baxter and Patricia Carrillo.
Great. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Miguel, for that, for the instructions. And we want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Once again, my name is Rebecca Terrazas Baxter. I am the city manager for the city of Raleigh. And also joining us today is our co-chair, Patricia Carrillo. Patricia?
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Patricia Carrillo, and I'm the Director of Development and External Relations for Alianza Coachella Valley. So just subbing in for Sylvia while she's out on sabbatical and returns next month on October 15th. So happy to be here with you all. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Patricia, for joining us and for assisting with the co-chair positions and responsibilities during Sylvia's absence. We really appreciate everything that you do and that Alianza does for our community. So thank you very much on your guys' continued partnership and continued participation. Again, we want to thank all of the committee members that continue to participate and join with us for these updates. I think it's wonderful to have your continued involvement, and also for you to share things that are continuing to take place, and that you are taking the leadership on throughout our community. So that's a brief welcome. I want to go over with you some of the meeting. Here's the agenda before you. As you can see, we're going to, as we just went through the brief welcome, we'll do some roundtable introductions as well, very briefly. We have member comments, updates, and future events that we'll be going over and doing a roundtable of. General plan for Salton Sea State Park update that we'll receive from California State Parks. We have an update from Salton Sea Conservancy with Joe at the California Natural Resources Agency, upcoming Salton Sea Management Program events that we'll be receiving an update on from Miguel and Josh. And then we'll be facilitating public comments at the end. So those that are not members of the committee, if you could please hold your comments or your questions until the end, and we'll make sure to get to them at that time. And then at the end, we'll provide a little wrap up in terms of reviewing any action items that came from our discussion today, and close the meeting for this month. So we want to hand that over now to Patricia. Actually, my apologies. I guess we should have done a roundtable of introductions. So we briefly skipped over that. So I'll call out people, and if you can please, and I'm just going, there's no particular order, I'm just going off of the names that I see here. If you could please, for those that have panelist links and are utilizing your panelist links, please provide a brief introduction with your name and organization that you are representing or community that you are representing. So I'll call out Ms. Camila Bautista.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name is Camila Bautista, and I'm the Salton Sea and Desert Program Manager with Audubon, California, and I'm based in Coachella.
Okay, thank you. Charles?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Charlie Land. I'm one of the, I apologize, the video doesn't seem to be working. I'm one of the supervisors with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife Salton Sea program. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Diana?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diana Rosas. I am with the Coachella Valley Mountains Conservancy. I am the Associate Director, and I do have another team member here on the call, Maximiliano Ochoa. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Edgar? Oh, my apologies. I see here. I'll move on to the next one. Enrique?
Good morning, Enrique Arroyo, California State Parks, Ocotillo Wells District Superintendent, representing Salton Sea State Recreation Area and 4 other desert state parks in our region. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Patrick?
Hi, I'm Patrick O'Dowd, Executive Director of the Salton Sea Authority. Thanks for having and looking forward to the presentations.
Thank you. Isame?
Hi, everybody. Good morning. It's really nice to see you all. I hope you all have had a wonderful, safe summer. My name is Isame Pacias. I'm here on behalf of Comité Cívico del Valle. And I do apologize, I will be off camera for today's meeting, but I will stay active in the chat. So again, thank you so much, everybody, and have a great day.
Great, thank you. Joe?
Hey, thanks so much, Becky. Good to see you, and congrats on the new position. Thanks so much for sticking with us in the engagement committee. It means a lot to us. Joe Shea, Assistant Secretary for Salton Sea Policy at the Natural Resources Agency, and also want to give appreciation to Patricia, our other co-chair, stepping in for Sylvia, and the fantastic work that Alianza is doing. Really appreciate you both leading the conversation today, and excited to get into it.
Thank you, Joe. Juliana?
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully my camera's on, but hi, everyone. My
It
name is
is.
Juliana. Thank you. My name is Juliana. I'm with Alianza Coachella Valley. I'm their campaign coordinator for the EJ campaign. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Carrie?
Hello, everyone. Good to be in your company. My name is Kerry Morrison. I'm a founder of the Eco Media Compass and Save Our Sea campaign and former West Shores mayor. And just gratefully stewarding this place for almost 15 years. So glad to be back and good to hear you.
Thanks, Carrie. Crystal?
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Crystal Otworth, and my pronouns are she, her, and I'm a policy advocate with Leadership Council for Justice and Accountability based here in the Coachella Valley. Thank you.
Thank you. Mario?
Good morning. Mario Llanos, Deputy Assistant Secretary for California Natural Resources Agency, working in the Salt and Sea Management Program, local here in beautiful Brawley, California. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mario. Maximiliano?
Good morning. My name is Maximiliano Ochoa. I'm with the Coachella Valley Mountain Conservancy. I'm based in the Coachella Valley. Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas Brinkerhoff?
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all. Thomas Brinkerhoff, the Compliance Division Manager with the Imperial County Air Pollution Control District. Looking forward to the presentations and discussion today. Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Tom? Tom Septon?
Good morning. Researcher, good to see everyone here. Have a great successful day.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Once again, thank you everybody for joining us. Now I'll hand it off to Patricia to continue with the agenda.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. It's nice to meet many of you that I haven't met yet. So looking forward to meeting you someday soon in person. And it's nice to see some familiar faces as well. And so, yeah, we're really excited about the updates and presentations for today. And as we move on to the next item in the agenda, we want to go ahead and pass it over to any member comments. It was number 2. So it'd be member comments, updates, and future events. We know some folks are not able to jump on camera or unmute themselves, so feel free to also provide your updates via the chat. And so we're happy to open it up, the floor for member comments, updates, and future events.
Hey there, I'm driving just for a few more moments, so I can't see a hand raised. I have one whenever it's appropriate.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't see their hands, and
Great.
feel free, folks, to raise your hand when you're ready as well to give any comments or updates.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to let folks know that there has been a good amount of work on the Desert Shores Channel Restoration Project with GAFCON and Salt Sea Authority and Nicholas Engineering in Imperial County and the Oversight Committee and Eco Media Compass. And there will be a meeting held in the West Shores. I think we're going to do that at the VFW in about 3 weeks. We are finalizing a location that has ample air conditioning. But if anyone would like to come to that and be a part of a project that was started by the community or learn about what's going on with that, we'd be so happy to have you there. And I'll keep folks up to date once we have a finalized time and location for that, hopefully within the next week. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anyone else that would like to share, feel free to raise your hand, unmute yourself, or include it there in the chat.
Just want to say some congratulations to the state program. There have been dozens of pelicans in the species conservation, one of the species conservation habitat ponds in recent days, and count that as a significant success.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Patrick, for sharing. And then I see Max. Go ahead.
Yeah, just 2 quick updates. So in the legislature, the Prop 4 rollout got approved. So we are still looking into getting ready to roll out the Proposition 4 for the Conservancy. Our comment period is still open until October 10th. So if you haven't had the chance to look at our proposed guidelines, you can email me or send me a message. But once that is approved by the board, and we'll move forward with the rollout of the Prop 4 for the Conservancy. On other grant updates, we're still accepting Proposition 84 grant acquisitions and Proposition 68 local grant assistance. If you need more information, feel free to email me or send me a chat. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Max. Definitely lots of great opportunities for our community, organizations, and folks here in this space. So thank you so much for sharing. Tom, I see that you had your hand up.
Already made my comment and told the hand to go down.
Oh,
Maybe it
okay,
hasn't happened
awesome.
yet.
Awesome. No worries. Thank you so much, Tom. Anyone else that would like to share before we hand it back to Rebecca?
I would like to share real quick, if I may. I just
Yeah,
wanted
go
to
ahead.
share an update. We'll talk more about future engagement opportunities. We have some slides ready for the group, but I just wanted to mention that our engagement efforts are really ramping up for the rest of the year. We have a packed calendar for October, November, meaning that we have not only community meetings happening or events, but also we have a good amount of visits booked for the SEH. Also, we're planning for the veg enhancement projects as well. So I just wanted to let folks know that that's happening. And also, as usual, or as I tend to repeat myself on, opening up an invitation to anybody that would like to visit any of these projects. I'm happy to coordinate that. It doesn't have to be a big group or small group. We take as many or as little of a group. But if maybe that's something we can plan together for folks that haven't been there or haven't been there in a while, maybe haven't seen the Pelicans that Tom mentioned. Maybe we can have a meeting out there as a committee. So just wanted to let you guys know that that's an open invitation to you all, and that we have tons of engagement and visits coming up.
That's great. Thank you, Megan. And then I do see here that Max did put his email address as well as the Prop 4 grant guidelines there for folks to take a look at. So thank you so much, Max. Awesome. Is there anyone else? Awesome. So then I'll go ahead and pass it over back to Rebecca. Thank you so much, everyone.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for your updates. Look forward to those opportunities to go out to the SEH as well and see it in cooler weather. I know the last time I was out there, it was really windy. We didn't get to see much and it was kind of hot. So let me know again when those opportunities open up. I'm open to that. We'll now move on to item number 3. And that where we will learn more about the general plan for the Salton Sea State Park from Enrique Arroyo. Go ahead, Enrique. It's your table. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. In the next few months, California State Parks will kick off the initial outreach for the Salton Sea State Recreation Area General Plan. The General Plan is a guide for the operations, management, and development of the state recreation area. With the General Plan, California State Parks can invest in larger scale capital improvements. In 2023, KDI prepared the Salton Sea State Recreation Area Visions Plan, which identified needs and improvements. California State Parks identified the types of improvements that came from that plan and that we could do now ahead of the general plan. Some of those types of improvements are increasing our outreach with programs at the North Shore Yacht Club, elementary schools in the Eastern Coachella Valley, and with groups like Friends of the Children Coachella Valley. We hired 1 full-time interpreter. In terms of park improvements, we have a pedestrian walkway currently being improved. The visitor center parking lot asphalt resurfacing is nearly complete. We have exterior sign improvements on the way, and as well as a restroom at the jetty. Among the major major minor improvements. Other types of improvements that we heard loud and clear from the visions plan are repair of ramadas, shade ramadas, repair of water drinking fountains, and working to bring more accessible features to Mecca Beach Campground. The park was added to the Adventure Pass program in the past couple of years, and we're looking to increase our social media presence. So those are some of the things that we could do ahead of the general plan that came from the KDI Visions plan. And again, in the next few months, we'll be kicking off the general plan process with initial outreach and workshops early to mid next year, probably outside of the summer months, but hoping to get it done before we hit the hot weather. I'm happy to entertain any questions.
If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or put it in the chat if you don't have access to audio or microphone. Okay. Enrique, I'm not seeing any questions at this time. Maybe more will pop up during public comment period. So if you could please stick with us till the end, we'd greatly appreciate. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
One more quick question. I apologize. I'm almost back to Mathis. A lot of people ask us about boat launching. Is there any capacity at the park to launch somewhere? Is there? I know the typical harbor is not for that anymore, but is there a beach that people can use to load a boat or no?
Currently not at the state recreation area. We looked at some of the geography, if you will, of the shoreline and how far we need to go. And it looks like about 100 to 200 feet before it gets deep enough to launch.
Okay, so
the state recreation
the
area.
answer is kayaks.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The answer is currently no, but it could be something that's identified through the general plan process. That type of improvement.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Any others? Great. Well, thank you very much, Enrique. As I shared, there may be more from public comment period. So if you could stick on with us, we'd greatly appreciate it. We appreciate the update. It's wonderful to hear about a lot of those different improvements that you're already working on instead of waiting for feedback on the general plan and those larger major projects that you're going to end up working on, or what should be the priorities. It's great to hear that you've identified and already have started on some of those smaller, more tangible, lower hanging fruit ones that we can address. So thank you very much for the work that you do at the Salton Sea State Park. I'll now hand it back to Patricia.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. And definitely echoing the gratitude, Enrique, for you and your team and the work that you all are doing there at the Salton Sea State Park. And so for the next item in our agenda, we'll go ahead and pass it over to Joe from the CNRA to give us updates on the Salton Sea Conservancy.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Patricia, and good morning, everyone. I just wanted to provide a quick update on the climate bond funding as it relates to the Salton Sea Conservancy and also our projects. I'll start first with the Conservancy, as I know I'm talking to many folks right now who were instrumental in making sure that the Salton Sea Conservancy came to life. So this is a really important moment for our program, which we're very excited about. But I think more than that, it's a testament to the power of folks in the region who have been advocating for the Conservancy to come online and fought really hard to make it happen. So I think most importantly, this is a big win for the region, and we are committed to driving it forward and honoring all of the hard work that made the Conservancy happen. So for background, The budget bill passed last Wednesday includes funding for the first year of the Salton Sea Conservancy. It's about $1.6 million. This is, again, super exciting and a testament to the folks who made this happen and advocated, for SB 583 over a year ago, and then fought to include funding in the climate bond to fund the Conservancy. And now, that funding goes to the legislature, and the legislature signed off on this last week, and the governor finally signed off, or I should say, the legislature approved the governor's proposal to fund the Conservancy, and then the final step was having the governor sign that step last Wednesday. So very, very exciting. As most of you know, the Conservancy was created to operate and maintain completed projects by our program, the SSMP. This is super important for two reasons. One, it frees up our staff's ability to build more habitat restoration projects at the Salton Sea, which I know we really need to see more of. And then more importantly, two, is that the Conservancy will ensure that our program's completed habitat restoration projects are working long into the future. So they're suppressing dust for the benefit of local communities, but they're also providing habitat benefits for fish and bird populations, not just now, but many, many, many years into the future, making sure that, all of that hard work, not so glamorous work, but critical work to making sure that these projects function is happening. So next steps on implementation, we're going to have some information going out in our SSMP newsletter that will likely go out early next week about the Salton Sea Conservancy and how you can get involved in it. I'm going to put the link in the chat for, actually, Miguel, could you put the link in the chat for folks to sign up for the newsletter if they haven't, if they're not already on the newsletter. And then just wanted to say too, bear with us as we still need to work on staffing up the Conservancy. So much of our team is kind of doing multiple jobs until that happens, because we've got to get the staff online for the Conservancy and then also make sure that we're implementing our projects. But obviously we're super happy to do it because we're excited about the Conservancy, and you can count on the first meeting of the Conservancy taking place in January 2026 as it's outlined in the law. And then just really quick, I want to touch on the climate bond, because I know that that's something that we've been asked, in meetings and in the hallways of our presentations. It's kind of been a long road here over the last 12 months. But I think, as a lot of you know, voters passed a $10 billion climate bond last November, which had the goal of kind of advancing a broad number of causes related to pushing back against climate change, safeguarding our communities and our natural resources, and everything from wildfire prevention to safe drinking water to protecting biodiversity and increasing access to nature. That's all in this really large climate bond. There's 8 key sections of the bond. There's safe drinking water, wildfire and forest resilience, coastal resilience, extreme heat, protecting biodiversity, climate smart agriculture and ranches and working lands, and then park access and clean air. So if that sounds like a lot, I'm going to put a link in the chat so that you can kind of see the next steps for implementing the climate bond across those verticals, and then sign up to continue to be in touch as the agencies and departments work to implement the bond. Again, there is a significant amount of competitive funding that's available here. It's a $10 billion bond. The budget passed last week by the legislature makes about $3.2 billion of that funding available. There's a little bit of a nuanced process here where you had the bond, then you had legislative approval and budget negotiations with the governor. That culminated last week. Now the money flows to the agencies and departments to start doing program implementation. If there's a new program or a program that needs updating or a grant program to external organizations, generally those programs will need to do regulations, which are kind of a type of administrative law to ensure fair process for all the organizations that are applying for this funding. And that's kind of the stage that we're being ushered into right now. You're going to see a lot of information from various departments and agencies who have funding, who are going to talk more about kind of their program guidelines on how they're going to spend it. And what's exciting about that is, by plugging in now, understanding how this funding is going to be spent across these programs, to the extent that folks see funding that they want to apply for, that opportunity will be there in the coming months and years, really. And our program stands ready to assist folks in getting more information, doing whatever we can to make sure that the region is well represented when it comes to opportunities for funding and coalition building that will advance the type of work that we want to see at the Salton Sea. And just last, I will say there's a speaker series on Monday that my boss, Wade Crowfoot, is doing. I just put the link in the chat that kind of talks about the meta of the climate bond and everything that's going on to implement it. I'm trying to keep this brief because I know we have a big speaking agenda, and I don't want to take up too much time. And just the very last thing I would say is that our program was super fortunate to receive over $100 million in the climate bond, $147.6 million to be exact. We're working as fast as possible to implement that funding into critical projects for habitat restoration at the Salton Sea, particularly on the west side, the east side, and the north side. You've all heard me talk a lot about the south side and the work that we're doing on the SCH, rightfully so, because it's a really big project and I think proof positive to the type of expansive work that we can do at the Salton Sea. But with this funding in the climate bond, we're now going to be able to cover north, south, east, west, which is really important to all of the folks who we hear from, day in and day out about the importance of accelerating our work. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I know I've talked for quite a bit here, Patricia, and I don't want to take us too far afield, but let me know how our program can help you all get the information you need to partner with us, with the state, and advance the critical work that is so important to all of us at the Salton Sea. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe, for the update. Lots of exciting opportunities coming up for our community and for the folks that are interested in applying for those dollars. Excited to see those investments come to our community, and thankful for all the folks who are in the space and not in this space who have advocated for those Prop 4 dollars and made it happen. So thank you so much for everyone. I do see Carrie, you have your hand up if you have a question for Joe.
Yeah, thank you. Two quicker things. Good to see you. One is a quick moment of encouragement where if we work together as these organizations that don't always work together well, but if we can show that we can partner together well, I believe we have a much higher chance of receiving more funding for the Salton Sea region. There are quite a few projects in the large state of California that could be applying for these, that probably know what's going on, that would like their projects to get this funding. Salton Sea has been ignored for a long time. A lot of things have died. I think we can do better. And the best thing I believe we can do as independent agencies and independent groups is strengthen our communities in partnerships and applying for these grants together. So if there are different groups that have complementary features or are working on projects that could be complementary, group applications for grants often go significantly further than individuals because you help keep each other accountable. So just encouraging us to do that in general. Let's let our guard down a little bit, find ways to work together. And if we do it that way, we might get hundreds of millions more dollars in investment in Salton Sea restoration than if we don't. I think I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Hear, hear. Thanks, Carrie. Good to see you and hear from you. And yeah, to your point, we certainly want to support that. I think folks on our team have ideas, but also want to recognize, folks who are in the region and have been advocating for a broader set of work than just our habitat restoration projects. So again, to the extent we can be helpful connecting folks with areas that maybe areas of the bond that maybe aren't our program's expertise, but obviously work with us in the state. We absolutely want to do that, and however we can be helpful, just let us know.
Wonderful, thank you so much. And I guess one other question for Joshe, if you can. I don't expect you to go deep in this, but just when people ask about the Salton Sea Conservancy, it's a new thing. It's another faux governmental agency in charge of Salton Sea things. There's the CNRA, there's the Salton Sea Authority, and then there's this new agency, and we're getting questions about this. What would you say is the Cliff Notes difference between those three organizations and what they're responsible for? So when people either want to volunteer, people want to participate, people have questions, people know who to go to. What's the difference to you?
Yeah, great question, Carrie. And point of clarification, you said there were three. I'm tracking Conservancy and CNRA. What can you remind me the third?
Well, the three, quasi-governmental or governmental agencies, CNRA is doing a lot, obviously. Salton Sea Authority has been working on this for a long time, and then the Salton Sea Conservancy. So what do you see as the difference between their roles? I think that'll all help us understand how to direct energy and focus and to know who is accountable for certain kinds of projects.
Sure. So CNRA is the parent agency of the Department of Water Resources and the Department of Fish and Wildlife. So the three of our entities, so the Natural Resources Agency, Department of Water Resources, and Department of Fish and Wildlife, make up the SSMP. And our job is to build habitat restoration projects at the Salton Sea, 30,000 acres. You've heard that number thrown around a lot. We build those projects primarily by having the Department of Water Resources, which knows how to build a lot of really significant capital infrastructure projects, and frankly have kind of, if you look into the history of the department, they've built the infrastructure and the water conveyance to enable California to exist as it does today, right? By being able to build massive hundreds of miles of infrastructure that transport water sources to areas that need water across the entire state. When you think about something like the State Water Project, right, which spans literally the backbone of California. So those are the engineers and the experts who are helping to bring their expertise to build projects at the Salton Sea, like the Species Conservation Habitat Project. That's roughly 3 square miles of flooded water right now, which is 4 times the size of Disneyland. Like, we're not talking about small projects. We're talking about big stuff. Hundreds of millions of dollars, right, goes towards building these projects. Why am I emphasizing that? Because the Salton Sea Conservancy was created to operate these gigantic projects once our Department of Water Resources engineers are done with building them. So that way, those engineers can go off towards building other projects around the Salton Sea that are going to create more habitat, lead more birds and fish to come back to the ecosystem. That's why we talk about ecosystem restoration. So to me, it's hand in glove with the state, CNRA, the departments building this infrastructure. They need to get permits from the Department of Fish and Wildlife to make sure that what we're doing as we build the projects doesn't impact the habitat that's currently there right now, right? Like, I think there's a lot of folks who maybe don't pay close enough attention to the fact that the Salton Sea still is a really critical ecosystem for birds. And I think our colleagues at Audubon who are online right now could speak a lot more to that than I will right now. So that's kind of the dynamic between our state team, right, of building the projects, handing them off to this conservancy who's going to be operating, eventually multi-billion-dollar investments at the Salton Sea, and ensuring that this ecosystem is resilient, revitalized, and protected for the future of the Salton Sea region. And so I think that's really exciting. And what I'd also say about the conservancy is that, the membership of the conservancy is 21 members. I won't go through all of them here, but a large presence in the region. We're super blessed on our team to have regional leadership within our program. You know, Mario's a 4th-generation Brawley resident. You know, Miguel in the region as well, and Katie Burnworth from our Department of Water Resources are all incredible members of our team who know this region well, live in the region, and we've got a lot of folks in Sacramento as well. But I think what's exciting about the Conservancy is it's going to increase the amount of folks who, again, are in this region to give that kind of regional leadership and ownership of these projects. So it's like, you know, some of this is Sacramento conceived, but it's going to end up for generations to come being implemented by folks in the region, which is the right way to do it. So that's why we're excited about the Conservancy. I'm talking a lot here. I would just say the authority has been an incredible partner from day one on the job for me, and I'm super impressed with all the work that Patrick is leading to get this Army Corps process up and running. Because really, what Patrick's doing, and I would invite him to kind of come off mute and talk a little bit more about this, is he's working to get the federal government engaged in a long-term ecosystem restoration plan of the Salton Sea that will allow us to cost share with the feds on again the ecosystem restoration piece and kind of addressing the Salton Sea ecosystem. And that's obviously a really big task. We're talking about the largest lake by landmass in the entire state of California, which is the biggest state in the United States. So this is really, really mega scale work, and we need we need the feds to come in and partner with us on this. And so that's why I think the work that Patrick has been doing on that front has been really helpful. And the authority has been engaged in a number of other initiatives and projects in addition to that. But I would just say that I see this as all kind of complementary, where the state's building its 30,000 acres, the authority is working to advance this long-term ecosystem restoration plan with the federal government that our state team has pitched in millions of dollars to support. And then we've got the Conservancy that's standing ready on the ground in the region to implement these projects once they're built and make sure that that ecosystem restoration work, the billions of dollars we're going to invest, it's not temporary, it's permanent, and it's sustaining. And I think all of that is really exciting and speaks to the need to having all of these entities, doing this work.
So since you invited me, I unmuted myself. And thanks for the question, Carrie, because I think that for a long time there's been a lot of confusion about the Conservancy, about the authority, about DWR, and about how all this is going to fit together. The authority has been around for over 30 years, right? It's a joint powers agency that's comprised of four public agencies and a federally recognized tribe. And we early on started pursuing projects for the sea, but when the state stepped in 2003, when the QSA was signed, the state assumed primary responsibility for the restoration of the sea, and the authority took a more advocacy role and collaborative role, finding funding, working together on things like the Perimeter Plan Project, the EIFD work that I saw Juan on the call that we did in conjunction with the Salton Sea Action Committee, and other things. One thing we did was we secured the feasibility study from Congress in 2020. And that's just another tool, right? And the most important thing is the collaborative efforts of everybody, not just CNRA, not just the Conservancy, not just the authority, but everybody in this call, all of the community-based organizations, all of the local agencies. Everybody has an important role to play. And I think the most important thing to me is that everybody's gifts and talents are being maximally utilized. So we're getting the best out of everybody. You talked a little bit about the grants, to the extent that the authority can work with you and be a conduit for grant funding to facilitate some of the work that's going on, we should talk, right? And we should have those conversations. We're working with the state to identify those opportunities. So yeah, I appreciate the question. And I think it's really important that we recognize that local control of this effort is important. That's what was trying to be achieved in the Conservancy, and I think that that's been realized. Joe didn't talk about it, and I look forward to hearing how that board is coming together. But it is, local representation, including representatives from each of my 5 member agencies, are going to be on that board. So the work that they're doing, and I'll wrap it up with this: the Conservancy actually was conceived in part by the authority working with Riverside County on the North Lake project. We knew that O&M was going to be a problem, and we didn't know what to do it. So we pulled some work that was done by Wade Crowfoot back when he was at the Water Foundation, and pulled an earlier conservancy that was formed and started working with it. And thankfully, Senator Padilla championed the effort. We worked together. It was a rigorous process. We pushed it through. We ended up with something that, once we get it started, we'll do some work and have the capability of doing more work. Right? This is good. This is a multi-generational undertaking, and I'm glad Joe is a lot younger than me, because hopefully he'll be able to see it into the next generation, because I will not. But I'm here for at least a short time, the near term.
Thank you so much for that overview. Really appreciate it. And I think that helps our teams and the attendees really understand the functions and ways that these efforts can collaboratively be supported. So appreciate that. And also just really appreciate the effort that you've been putting towards Desert Shores. I think something really beautiful is going to happen there, and our community really appreciates you, Patrick. Thank you all.
You bet, Kerry. And I didn't comment earlier, and I appreciate yours. You know, this is all difficult, right? This is more challenging than any of us ever expected 20 years ago when we got in. So we're getting to the point where we know more than we used to, and it informs what we can do and what we can't do. And you know, the state's been able to secure some significant state and federal dollars, and we're putting that to work, and we're making things happen. And that's the good story that's being told here.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Joe, Patrick, and thank you, Carrie, for your question and your thoughtful call to action to all of us, right, to ensure that we're doing collaborative fund seeking so that we can ensure as much investments can come to our Salton Sea region and to our community. So thank you to the three of you. And so I don't see other folks' hands up, and so I can go ahead and pass it over to Rebecca for the next item, and then we do have a public comment section as well in case other questions or comments rise up towards the end.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that, Patricia and Joe and everybody else that participated in that last discussion. It was very engaging, and as Patricia said, it's really a great call to action for us to collaborate and potentially do some joint efforts and joint applications for grant funding that could really be helpful for our community and region as a whole. So want to move on to item number 5, where we will be joined by Miguel and Josh that will share with us some upcoming SSMP community events and additional engagement opportunities or meetings.
Great. Thank you, Becky. So yes, I just wanted to share some upcoming meetings and events that we have coming up for the community. If we can go to the next slide. As you know, years past, we've been celebrating Latino Heritage Month. This is a celebration that helps uplift the Latino communities, particularly in the Salton Sea region for our program. And we do this year we're doing a couple events to honor the contributions of Latino communities in the region. Last year we did a tour of the SEH. This year we're doing also a tour, and we will be doing a art exhibit event. So we want to make sure that you all know about these events that are coming up. For the art event that you see before you, this is a joint event that we're doing with our partners at Imperial Valley Equity and Justice. This is an event in Calexico. This is calendared for October 8th. And we actually have a call for artists open right now. This is open invitation to anybody that would like to showcase their work. You used to have a few days to submit your artwork. If we can go to the previous slide, actually, to the flyer, that one. You can reach out to Sergio from Ivy Equity if you have more questions on both the event and the call for artists. If you want to submit your artwork there, we want to make sure that you all have the opportunity to submit and showcase your work there. Again, that's October 8th in Calexico. This is the new office, by the way, from Ivy Equity and Justice. So you'll have the opportunity to see it if you haven't seen it. They actually have a standing gallery at their office, which is really nice. Next slide, please. For the call for artists, next one. Like I said, you still have some days. We have till September 30th, so about 5 days. And then you can drop off your art on the 3rd, and then the event will be on the 8th. For any information, contact Sergio. He's our partner on this with Ivy Equity on Injustice, and hope to see folks out there. We're trying to include Calexico as part of the celebrations for Latino Heritage Month. And then next slide, please. You can also use this QR code if you want to. There's a form that needs to be filled. So you can use this QR code, which is also included on the flyers. So you can submit your artwork as well. So next slide, please. Okay, this is a same as last year. We're gonna do another tour at the Species Conservation Habitat Project. This is on October 4th in the morning. Perhaps you've seen some flyers around. We actually have transportation available this time. We'll be able to offer a ride from Calipatria and Brawley to the project itself and back. So, or you all can also meet us there at the project at 9 a.m. So we will be touring the SEH side. We'll take folks to see the filled ponds. Hopefully we get to see some pelicans. This is an open invitation to anybody that would like to join us. This is not specific to any group or anybody. In fact, we do encourage families to attend. We have on the registration form that's been going on. I've seen that there's some whole families attending this event, which is exactly what we're looking for. But it's also open to our partners. If you can spare some time on that Saturday morning, we definitely want to see you out there and help us, or for you to see the project itself and see all the wildlife that's been flying around the area. If you can help me with the link, Josh. Oh, I saw it there. Thanks there's a registration form that needs to be filled, especially if you need transportation, just so we have a good head count of the folks that are attending the tour. We are capped at 25 participants. Seats are getting filled. So if you're interested in joining, please register as soon as you can, so we can have you accounted for the bus. You can go to the next slide. Okay, and also there is a next slide. There you go. There's an upcoming event for the community at Bombay Beach. This is a draft flyer. We haven't shared it broadly yet, but we wanted to give you a heads up that this is coming up. October 23rd, we'll be meeting at the Bombay Beach Community Center during the evening. And we're actually bringing our partners with us on this event from Audubon, California, from IID, and our partners from state parks. So we will be sharing a lot of good information that is happening near the community of Bombay Beach on our vegetation enhancement projects or wetland projects, general plan from state parks, and the vegetation project from IID. So there's a good amount of information. We're looking at doing this in an open house format, meaning that we're going to have multiple stations around the venue. So we will not have like a usual presentation or anything like that. We will be opening up, of course, with some welcoming remarks and some highlights of each of these projects. But we'll be having a sort of free flow type of meeting or type of open house format, so folks can decide which one they want to learn more about. They can spend as much or as little time as they will like. We'll have staff for each of these stations from all of our partners and the Salton Sea Management Program to cover all this important information that is happening at the community of Bombay Beach. We'll have some really good updates for the SSMP projects, and particularly the wetland restoration project. I think we're making great progress there, achieving nearly or pretty close to 100% design there. So we'll share an update on that with the community, and also offer opportunities for feedback and any recommendations that people might have for the Salton Sea projects. Again, that's on October 23rd during the evening. like I said, we haven't shared the flyer just yet up to the public, but we wanted to give you a heads up that this is coming up. If we can go to the next slide. So I just wanted to get your thoughts as of what do you think about this format, how we can make it effective, or how we can improve it. Also, how we can have folks participate or ask their questions. I know it's we want to make it as organic as possible. We want to make sure that people get the time and attention that they deserve, and that also get the opportunities to learn about all these different projects that are happening at the C. Also, if you have any recommendations for any tools that might be helpful, any platforms or anything that you would recommend to enhance the meeting itself as a open house format. We're thinking of having poster boards, having some fact sheets, kind of like a tabling event, if you will, but with all this important information from these different projects. So I just wanted to get your thoughts, open up the floor for anybody that would like to share any ideas or what do you think about this format. Like I said, it's a pretty significant amount of information, but it's also covering the part of meeting fatigue. That's why we went this route this time, so we can have our meetings at our partners at Audubon or partners at IID and our partners at state parks join us in a single meeting, so we can tackle all this information at once in a meeting. So just wanted to get your thoughts on this. What do you think about this proposed format, and if you have any ideas or anything that you feel that could work for our meeting that keeps things interesting.
Anybody interested in providing any additional feedback or responding to any of the questions that are posed up on the screen? Please feel free to raise your hand. If you don't have the ability to raise your hand, please feel free to speak up and unmute yourselves. Open to any suggestions or recommendations that you have. I don't see.
So
Sorry, go
I'll
ahead.
just jump in. I'll just jump in here. But well, first of all, thank you, Miguel, for giving us a breakdown. I think that the Bombay Beach community, I know, has a lot of things to look forward with, the different workshops that you'll be offering. So this is really nice to see put down on my calendar. I think just generally based on, my experience working alongside the SSMP team, I think that this flow definitely works in terms of avoiding like meeting fatigue. But I just think one little thing I do want to flag is Spanish translation. I know that usually we often have an individual that can speak Spanish, but I think for this specific area, just ensuring that there is like a plan of action in case you do have that group of Spanish speakers, to be able to be comfortable and really follow all of the different stations and have somebody that can help ensure that they have the materials as well as potentially, talking to the different individuals that will have these stations about having bilingual language material. So aside from that, I know for technology, is this something that's going to be streamed via Zoom or is it only in person?
This is going to be only in person.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that in the past, you as the SSMP team has used the Menti, which I think in the past I think is very interactive. I think Menti, just to kind of check in, see what everybody learned about each station and kind of what they look forward to. So really opening it up for feedback and really ensuring, right, that you can collect something in terms of the experience. But I think overall, I really like the idea of the workshops and kind of make it like cafe style. And I think the biggest thing would be ensuring that you allocate the right amount of time per each station, just so everybody can go through each area. I know that sometimes we're very focused on one topic, and we tend to have that one group of individuals that just really stick to one area, but ensuring that they can visit each and every single one of the stations. But as far as feedback, that's pretty much, you know, my comments. So thank you for opening up this discussion, Miguel.
Thank you, Isame. Yeah, and I think using Menti might be useful. We just need to get a little creative on see how we can apply it, or to which of our projects can be a benefit. But thank you for your feedback. And also regarding the interpretations, thank you for flagging that. I think that's something that we are paying special attention to because of the format itself. It's kind of tricky, but I think we will be able to work it out in a way that's both productive, but also engaging with the audience that might pop up and need the translation services. So we are considering how we can either we do a group together and have them move through the stations, but I think we'll need to kind of play it as we see it happening day of, but we are preventing some of that as well. It just depends the amount of folks or the group that needs the service, to see how we can best accommodate all of them, but also keep them engaged.
Thank you for those recommendations, Isame and Miguel. Thank you very much for sharing that information. I'll do one more check just to see if any hands raised or anyone that would like to share any additional suggestions or comments. I did see in the chat, though, that there was an agreement as well with the recommendation that Isame had provided regarding the use of Menti. So it seems to be something that has been found to be very useful for these types of events. See a hand raised by Tom. Go ahead, Tom.
Quick question for Miguel. Is there going to be any opportunity ahead of the meeting for local residents to go and physically have a look at some of the progress on Bombay Beach wetlands and projects in the area?
You mean like go to the project area?
Yes.
Or, we weren't anticipating that, but if we can work it out and if the conditions allow, we might be able to work something out. That's a good suggestion, but I think we'll need to confer with the team to see if we can make it happen. We are planning on bringing some pictures and renderings for you know, sort of the future of the project, but I think that's a good idea to see if folks are able to take a stroll to this project area. It just depends on the conditions and what's happening there, but that's a good suggestion.
Thanks.
I just want to add as well that once we finalize the flyer, we'll be doing our usual social media toolkit. And if any of you guys can help us spread the word, either digitally or physically, and physically, if you need copies of flyers, please let me know and we'll get them to you. Really, and we're also going to be doing a mailer to the community of Bombay Beach just to make sure that every resident is aware of the meeting and hopefully can attend. So again, if anyone, you know, anything you can do to help support us would be greatly appreciated. If you need copies of the flyer, please let me know or let Miguel know. And as soon as we have the toolkit ready, we'll send that to you as well.
Yeah, and we'll likely finalize the flyer sometime next week. So we'll get that. Hopefully we can wrap up also the social media kit and we'll put it together and send it to the whole group.
Great. Thank you very much, gentlemen, Miguel, Josh. We really appreciate all this information that was shared about this upcoming event. You know, appreciate you utilizing this platform and tool for its intended purpose, right? Is to really improve and expand our engagement efforts that we're making in general related to Salton Sea management programs. So, you know, you asking about that feedback and being open to it and seeing what you can do to incorporate some of those recommendations is very, very much appreciated. So thank you very much. I'll now pass it back to Patricia so we can move on to our next item on the agenda.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. And so the next item in our agenda for today is public comments. So I do see that we have some attendees here with us that are part of the public. Feel free to raise your hand. Josh, if you can support us as well with some of the features, if folks have any questions or comments from the public, as well as members, feel free to chime in if there's any items throughout the agenda that you might have any additional questions or comments on as well.
Patricia, I do see, I think there's a question in the Q&A.
Let's see here. Awesome. So we do have a question here. Thank you, Rebecca. We have a question from Michael Cohen from Pacific Institute. Any updates on progress on the NLPDP or North Lake projects generally, including opportunities for public engagement and planning and community access for the projects themselves?
I'll take that one, and would invite Patrick O'Dowd to tag team this as well. But I think there's a future meeting of the authority, the Salton Authority, this year, where our team is going to be working to present an update on that project. And I think we're on schedule for November. But Patrick, is there anything else you want to add there? Totally appreciate the question, Mike. I think it's been a minute since we've had an update there, and so that's why, you know, our team working with the authority and obviously our great partners at Riverside County as well are trying to tee up an update before the end of the year so that folks can kind of hear the latest.
Yeah, I would only add, you know, it's part and parcel of the comment I made earlier regarding lessons learned and the evolution of this and all the projects. When we started on this effort some time ago, the state wasn't involved in the Greater North Lake project adjacent to this one. We didn't have some of the geotechnical information that we have now. We didn't have community input like we've received on some of the felt needs of those communities. So we've been looking at where we've been and where we're at and trying to figure out where to go to optimize all of the resources that are available. And it's not been easy, but we're having conversations with the state and figuring out when and how to address all of the needs. And we expect that at the next board meeting in November that we're trying to settle on a date. And once we have a date, we'll have that published. We'll have more pertinent and relevant information to inform this discussion. But it's in process, and stay tuned. Is that fair?
Awesome. Thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Joe, for your responses. Mike, feel free to chime in if there's any other questions that you might have with regards to the follow-up from the response, or if anyone else has any other questions or comments. Awesome. I see Miguel, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment in regards to that upcoming meeting that Carrie shared for Desert Shores. Same here. If you'd like to share a flyer once ready, we'll like to help you cross promote your event as well and support you in any way we can.
Awesome. Thank you, Miguel. And I also see that Luis, you have your hand raised.
Yes, hi everyone. Good morning. Luis Olmedo with Comité Cívico del Valle. I just want to, in case everyone isn't already aware, $50 million to cross-border rivers. There's a lot of press around the efforts for San Diego taking the 50 million. However, it's my understanding those 50 million in spirit would have been invested in both Imperial Valley and San Diego, and of course Salton Sea is connected to the New River, and there's already projects at the entry point that could benefit from these monies. I haven't seen a lot of talk about it, but I do see more press coming out of San Diego, and just want to make sure that those local stakeholders here get involved.
Thank you, Luis. Patrick?
Yeah, Luis, thanks for mentioning that. That actually came up at the Salton Sea Authority board meeting last week. Director Singh brought it to our attention, and the board authorized a letter in support of Imperial Valley's efforts to secure its fair share of those funds. So appreciate you bringing that up. And like Carrie mentioned earlier, the more people that give voice to these opportunities and concern, the greater chance we're going to have of getting the attention we need. So I just want to thank you for mentioning.
Yeah, we will weigh in too as Comité Cívico. However, I would gladly support others' letters as well at your request.
Awesome. Thank you, Patrick and Luis. Are there any other questions or comments from the public or members? Sounds good. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and pass it back to Rebecca. Thank you so much, everyone.
Great, thank you very much. So it looks like we're wrapping up early. If we are now moving on to item number 7, review some key action items that came out of our discussion today, and then wrap up this meeting. So just a few things that I'll highlight. If I miss anything, please feel free to add, Patricia, Miguel, anything that I might have missed. But just some things I'll highlight from our discussion today is a reminder, make sure you guys are checking the chat box for very important information and links. That way you can learn more about the updates that were shared earlier today. There are also links that way you can register for any of the upcoming events that were highlighted during this meeting as well. There was a discussion about the SSMP e-newsletter. Please sign up. That was a great reminder, Joe, because I needed to do that now that I transitioned positions as well with my new email. So I just did that as well during our meeting. And it's a great way, so that way you can learn how to engage with the Salton Sea Conservancy and other important updates that the SSMP team shares with all of us. We have upcoming California Latino Heritage Month celebrations and other events that are taking place. So you have the art walk that is scheduled for October 8th. There was a deadline to submit pieces that you'd like to share during the event, art pieces by September 30th. So there was a call for artists as well that was shared with us. There's an SCH bus tour that's scheduled for October 4th. I believe there's a link on how to register for that tour if you're interested in the chat box. So please feel free to visit that. Also discussion about the Salton Sea community meeting or / open house that the SSMP team is working on. This meeting will be focused about habitat restoration projects. It will take place in Bombay Beach on October 23rd. As I mentioned, this is a meeting that's hosted by CNRA and other agencies and partners. Please help them spread the word with the digital toolkit that Miguel and Josh will share with us, hopefully, I think by next week. For the recommendations and suggestions that were shared to help Miguel and the team enhance the meeting format that was discussed for October 23rd. Some reminders there is just encourage a plan of action to provide Spanish translation if it's needed, or Spanish materials as well, and also ensuring that we allocate the appropriate time per station, and the recommendation about using Menti if there's a way to incorporate that format in the meeting. So once again, just want to thank you all for participating, for engaging with today's meeting. As you can see on this slide in front of you, you can learn more about multiple engagement opportunities and sign up for updates at saltonsea.ca.gov. There's an email address, a general one for the Salton Sea team that you can utilize as well. And so anything I might have missed, please feel free to share. Patricia, Miguel. Anything on your end? No?
Nothing else on my end. Thank you so much, everyone. Thankful to be in this space with you all today and looking forward to continue to work with many of you to improve the lives of our communities in the Salton Sea region. And so lots of great work happening and working alongside you all in the community. It's been great these past few years. So thank you so much for all the work that you all do.
Great. Well, thank you. I think she ended it nicely. We'll end it there and we'll see you all at the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.